Hello, this is Star Conflict, and today we'll talk about the 5 best guard frigates. Our list will include one frigate from rank 1 to 6, from rank 7 to 9, 10 to 12, and finally, from rank 13 to 15. The best premium vehicle will be a whole another category. Keep in mind that this compilation is not a top 5 per se. Each ship that we'll mention is the best at its rank, nothing more, nothing less. Oh, and we will not touch various craft ships. They are an entirely different beast because their modifiers and bonuses can be customized by any of you guys. At starting ranks, we took a note of 2 very similar frigates, the Federation's Alligator and the Jericho's Neuron Zealot. They have the same additional bonuses and almost identical set of modifier slots, but of course, we're not factoring in the differences between the shield and the hull modifiers due to each faction's specifics. So which one of them is the best? Let's take a look at the unique modules and modifiers here. The Alligator can be equipped with the Boarding Charger module. It makes the ship impervious to all collision damage, while also pulling all enemies within 3-kilometer range closer to itself. On top of that, the module increases the shield's resistance by 27 points for each enemy affected. Not bad. The Neuron Zealot doesn't have this module, but you can install the Graviton Projectile Exciter instead. This module has an interesting mechanism. When activated, each time you hit an enemy ship by the main cannons, you steal some of the victim's shields. It also pulls the closest enemy towards the ship you've just hit. This works great with both proximity and coil mortar. But the Alligator can also siphon enemy shields with its weaponry. All you need is to take the Plasma Devastator unique weapon. It can provide the aforementioned effect, but only on critical hits. At a first glance, when factoring in the base critical hit chance, the Plasma Devastator doesn't look to yield much profit. But don't be too hasty to pass the judgment here. The critical hit chance increases by 6% each time you hit someone. This bonus can be stacked up to 5 times, but it only lasts 2 seconds. Throw the Oculus Neurocontroller implant into the mix, and you'll have a whopping 45% crit chance. Kinda unusual for a guard frigate, right? The Neuron Zealot doesn't have access to this kind of firepower. It can only work with standard weapons, and so we're left with no choice but to crown the Alligator as the best low-rank guard frigate. The best vehicle of rank 7 to 9 is a bit more difficult to pinpoint. There are a lot of good choices here, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. The kinetic weapons fans, for example, might like the Templar S, but due to its low rank, it will have a much more restricted choice of modifiers when compared to the other ships of its class. The Crusader is another interesting option. It can be equipped with the so-called MIRV launcher, that is essentially a homing cluster bomb. Doesn't deal that much damage though, so you'll be better off targeting small groups of enemies. Those clusters will home in on different targets. And now let's examine the only Federation ship in this category, the Anaconda M. Don't be surprised if your allies will give you a funny look when you fly it. The Anaconda M comes with the Rain Season Transformer modifier. It passively increases your shield recharge rate and instantly restores more than a half of your shield's energy when an ally dies near you? Yeah, talk about predators. In the end, we chose the Cross S as the best one. It's nimble enough for a Jericho frigate, that is. And its unique module, the Ballistic Codebreaker, will provide 20% additional speed at first or white module level. With the Codebreaker on board, the Cross S can compete in speed with the Federation's frigates. Moreover, this module also decreases incoming damage. The farther the enemy, the less damage you'll take. The Confrontation Program module pairs well with the Codebreaker. It boosts your damage output for each incoming damage source, making enemies regret their recklessness. They better not think that they can simply swarm you now. There are 2 strong contenders for the best vehicle of ranks 10 to 12. Our favorites are the Anaconda Mark II and the Grizzly Mark II. Both have the same modifiers. The Grizzly is just a tad bit more resilient and has a bonus of 10% crit chance. The Anaconda, on the other hand, has a solid bonus for all kinetic weapons. If you like them, take a note. This frigate also borrowed a little something for the command fighters, the Adaptation Mechanism Capacitor modifier, which increases the resistance of all allied shields in a 2.5 kilometer range. Additionally, this module strengthens the Anaconda's own shields in the same manner as the Crystal Plate's modifier does. The more they shoot you, the tougher you become. The Grizzly has its own capacitor modifier, the Safety Switch modifier. It cannot buff any allies and only works when you activate the special module. Both frigates can be equipped with unique modules that will help you catch up to your enemy. The Grizzly Mark II has the boarding charger, which we already mentioned, but the Anaconda has something more controversial. The ram attack module makes the ship invulnerable to all collision damage while simultaneously accelerating the ship greatly. Essentially, it turns the Anaconda into a giant battering ram. Sounds cool, but surviving a maneuver like that isn't an easy task. There's also no clear winner at rank 13 to 15. With a heavy heart, we think that the best one out there is the Inquisitor S, the toughest high-rank frigate in the game. You can also install the Ballistic Codebreaker and the Confrontation program on it, as well as the MIRV launcher. In other words, you'll get used to it in no time. Lastly, we'll look at the Golden Guard frigates, and could only sigh. Almost every one of them are worthy of being called one of the best guard frigates. In the end, we chose the Reaper, the rank 8 guard frigate. Good bonuses, a nice set of modifier slots too. 3 for the shields, 2 for the hull. Survivability is not a concern at all. There are only 2 premium ships that come with the similar modifier arrangement, and defenses are very, very important for guard frigates. By the way, the Reaper can efficiently use the ram attack in conjunction with its unique tractor beam. After all, the enormous bayonet on the ship's nose is not just for show. Do you agree with this list? Tell us about your favorite frigates in the comments below. See you in space.